We're back. Our guests on this segment are Ryan Woods, Sergeant Ryan Woods, Tulsa Police Department K9 Sargent, and we have Clint Jordan, who is a K9 officer. Gentlemen, good to have you with us.
Thank you for having us.
And at his feet, on the floor, eyeing me suspiciously, you'll find Louie.
Yes, sir.
Who is a K9 dog. Now, everybody in this studio right now is a little wired because we don't know how to behave. Just normally?
Yes, just no quick movements, really.
Quick movements.
Yes,
Okay.
That draws his attention. So.
We're going to run some video here in a couple of minutes, but first of all, Sergeant, I'd be curious to know how many K9 dogs do we have on the force?
Well, with Tulsa in our unit, we have 13 dogs. 12 of those are patrol dogs. They're dual certified dogs, meaning they're patrol certified, and they are also narcotic certified. We do have one single purpose dog that is narcotic certified. Mm-hmm. And so that makes up the 13 in our unit. We do have additional dogs around the department where we have 6 out of the airport that are explosive detective dogs. And they primarily work out of the airport, but they are Tulsa police officers. And we've also got 2 canines that work with our undercover narcotics guys that are single-purpose narcotics dogs.
These dogs are all highly trained, are they not?
They are. They spend a lot of time training. Initially, when we get them, they spend about 12 weeks with their handlers in an initial school, and then they train every other week for an entire shift. Mm-hmm. So approximately 18 hours a month they spend training in addition to that, and then they're required to do 15 to 30 minutes of obedience training per night on their shift.
So on a regular basis?
Correct.
Then they're assigned to an officer?
Usually when we first get the dog, they start their 12-week school with the officer that they're going to be assigned to.
I see. You have the great responsibility and duty to be assigned Louie.
Yes, sir.
Have you guys bonded like family? Is that the way it works out?
More than family. I spend more time with this dog than I do with my family because he's with me at work and he's with me at home. He stays at home with us, and he's just, yes, and this actually, he's my 4th dog I've been on that I've had since I've been in K9. And I'd say that he and I have bonded the most of my 4 dogs.
So then he has to be, on the one hand, he has to know when to take off the badge, if you will.
Yes, sir.
And work with the kids and the wife and everything. And on the other hand, when it's time to hit the street, he also understands that.
He knows when that police car starts.
Okay.
And when he sees me in uniform, he knows it's time to go.
He's ready to go to work. We have some video, and I'd like both of you to chime in and kind of explain to the folks at home what we're seeing, if you wouldn't mind.
This part here, we're actually doing some narcotics training. We have narcotic aids hidden on some of the vehicles, and the dogs are currently searching the vehicles, trying to locate that narcotic and indicating to it. There is so that dog there goes underneath the car. There's some narcotics hidden up underneath the bumper, and he's located the narcotics at that point.
And another thing on that was our dogs indicate on passive, so they will sit when they get an odor of the drug that they're trained on. Yes, sir. Whereas some other are aggressive, which they could scratch up a car, doing like that. So we definitely want the passive. This here is our agility training, and they have got to go through different agility qualifications. They get certified through USBCA, which is the United States Police Canine Association, and they pass this every 3 years to keep up their certification.
As I sit here and watch this animal work, I'm struck with the fact that it seems like a friendly puppy, a friendly dog, but it really is not that kind of animal.
No, everybody says these are our pets, but in all reality, these are a tool. These are a force multiplier for our police department. These dogs can do more than what you can in one building search. Say you're looking for a bad guy or you have him broken.
I've seen that firsthand, and I just share with you briefly. I was in a building one night, in an office building, and I heard glass break. And Mama didn't raise a dumb one. I just, called law enforcement and said, here's the situation. They said, keep your office door locked, we'll be right there. And the officer came in, walked me out, and they took a dog, turned it loose in the building. A 1-story building. And that thing, in no time, had the bad guy in the back of the building. I mean, found him that quick.
Yes, sir.
and got him in. So these dogs obviously know what they're doing in terms of training. If I were to say to you, this is probably a ridiculous question, but I'm known for that. If I were to say to you what the dog goes through in terms of training, what kind of expense would we expect to be poured into each one of these animals?
These dogs off the bat are fairly expensive. We buy our dogs in an industry term that's referred to as a green dog, which means little to no training, and then we get them and we train them ourselves. It's a monetary savings for us. We're a large enough department to have fortunate people, very talented people, and Officer Jordan's one of them. He's one of our trainers. So when we get the dog in, then they spend that time training. So the green dogs, if for a green dog with the breeding standards and stuff that we require, you can expect to pay anywhere between $6,500 and $9,000.
Just for the dog?
Just for the dog. If you were to buy a dog that was trained and go somewhere to be trained, those dogs run $9,000 to $15,000 depending on the pedigree of the dog and stuff like that. But I mean, really, they're an invaluable tool for. I mean, it's very difficult to put a number amount on what they're worth to the Tulsa Police Department.
Well, it's a silly question to ask, and I apologize for that. But at the same time, it just seems to me like what you're doing is you're training an officer.
Correct.
Not just a dog. This animal becomes a member of the force and is considered family by whomever it's assigned to. And in the field, you got to have, instead of an officer with you, you got to have a dog that's got your back.
Yes, sir.
What else in terms of training? Is there anything you can tell us about dogs that respond differently to training as opposed to dogs that take right to it?
We've seen both, really. And you'll see even with the same dog where he will respond very well to the narcotics training, and then it takes a while for him to pick up the tracking, or you'll have vice versa. So you'll see it a lot of times. You don't see a dog that just gets it all at once. A lot of them have something you have to work on a little bit harder, but usually we get them there. And if we don't get them there, then they will eventually wash out, because we can't have that, because it's an officer safety issue. If you have a dog that's not going to, like you said, get the officers back.
Mm-hmm. It amazes me when I've read about the animals, and I hate to use that phrase because they are more than just an animal, but I've read about the things they do, and it's just astounding what these animals are capable of. Training goes to here, but sometimes the dog goes to here with it. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, even the handlers go, how did he know that? And nobody can explain it really. It's just the animal takes to you, it takes to the training, and boom, you've got a real officer there. Mm-hmm. Is it much different at home with him?
Being the animal, that type of animal, some can handlers allow their dogs to kind of run freely in the backyard with the family and stuff like that. Just knowing, I've seen what this dog can do when he apprehends people. I know his abilities. I know he listened to me. I just don't ever want to take a chance of something keying the dog off that he may accidentally go after my child or my wife. So I don't allow that. But he knows when he's at home. He's a totally different dog. He just lays, hangs out, and doesn't get all perked up or anything.
When I hear, he seems pretty calm.
He is, because he knows
I
we're not.
owe that to my distinguished manner. But I have to know that when I look at this animal, when he came in, he was spot on everything in this room, in the studio. Looked it over, checked it out, checked the people out that came in and left, watched very carefully. Once he was comfortable, and only then did he stretch out and kind of rest.
Right.
And I don't mean in terms of when they die, but what's the professional life expectancy of one of these dogs? Do you reach a point where you have to say, okay, time for you to retire?
We typically work dogs till they're, a target goal would be 9, 10 years old of age. Typically for us, that's 7 to 8 years of service. And we don't really have a drop dead date that when they hit a certain age that they are required to retire. But around that age, you kind of start seeing them slow down more. Their hips are starting to get a little older, and
Just like me. Hey, guys, thank you. We're out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you so
sir.
much. And Louis, you're welcome anytime, bro. Hey, that's all the time we have for this edition of Perspectives. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.